All right. Welcome everyone. Good morning, and thank you for joining the Aspot Office Hours live help sessions. This is where you can ask your quick question regarding Aspot and get live help. And on these calls, we also do live builds to show you how different Aspot tools can work in real use cases. So if you have a question at all, or if you're working on something and you need help with, feel free to unmute your mic, or you can also type in your question. And for today's topic, if you are someone working with tutoring businesses or anything similar, this is basically a match a student to the right tutor kind of flow. So, which is a pretty common problem. I mean, most centers are still handling this manually through messages or maybe calls. So, instead of doing that, we will use Aspot to handle the front end conversation, and then just guide the parent or the student through a few, key questions. It can be about subject, grade level, learning challenges, their preferred schedule. So there's nothing overly complicated. And then what we're going to do is maybe prompt AI, give it like information of the tutor, and make sure to prompt it to match the student based on what they answered regarding the subject, the grade level, and the learning challenges and the preferred schedule. The AI will be able to like match the tutor, and then also maybe provide a link to their like booking calendar. So for agencies, if your business is working with, tutoring services, is a really clean way to build something useful for clients without making the bot, overly complex. So I'll walk you guys through it quickly, so you can see how easy it is to put together. So let me just exit out of my Aspot screen and go inside the business. And for this one, we'll be creating a chatbot. So you can easily incorporate it to any like existing websites that the business might have. Okay, so we will name this Tutor Match Bot. Let's keep it short, let's keep it simple. Let's click create. And let's just wait for that. Okay, there you go. Now let's go inside and let's start adding a few things that we need. First thing that we need, of course, is the resources that the chatbot needs to have. So I'll first put the like the sample tutors that the chatbot can match with, and then the tutoring center knowledge base document. So these are two of the knowledge that the chatbot needs to be able to like kind of like do the match and work on the logic. So as you can see here, here's the information about the tutoring center. So if you're working with like specific business, of course, you need to change this. But you can use this as like a reference document to a chatbot. So you can say something like, can you create a similar knowledge base for this tutoring like center, and then put the link to their website, or maybe put a link to their like information, and the chatbot will create a similar knowledge base to this, but tailored to the business that you are working with. So you can just use this kind of like a template when it comes to like creating knowledge bases for this like tutorial itself. So as you can see here, we also have the sample tutor stack. So of course, that may differ if you're working with a business. They may store it in a different way. So you can definitely add that as a source. And then next thing, let's head on over to the chat settings. So before, we're actually going to be using a flow. We're going to be incorporating a flow in this that will be built under Flow Builder. However, let's set up the chatbot first, and then let's build the builder. Let's build the flow inside the Flow Builder in a second. So let's just upload a logo right here. Put that inside. Okay, let's make sure that's with it correctly. Okay. Now let's add this one. There you go. Okay. Cool. Now let's like upload, and so let's make sure to kind of like change a few things in here. Like the display name. maybe the call to action. Hi there, I am a Tutor Match bot. But we don't really need to like change this because we're going to be using a flow to start the conversation, to like trigger the conversation. So it's not like something that we really need to add there. So I'm going to be using this custom theme for it. And then next is we will be using a prompt in here. So this prompt, let me just show you guys how simple it is. There we go. Let's open this up. All right. So you are a helpful tutoring assistant. The parent or the student is looking for a tutor, and you need to base your response from past responses. So here's the best match, and then the user needs, and then write a friendly recommendation explaining like why this tutor is a great fit, what they specialize in, and encourage booking. So we will get this once we connect the flow builder itself. We will get like the following like information, and then the AI can just use its logic to match it with the tutor based on this prompt that we added. Let me just make sure that this is enabled. Okay, great. Now let's head on over to the channels. Let me just add a few channels in here. So this one's going to be a question channel. See availability. And then next, let's maybe do this one, book a session, and then you can also have them talk to a coordinator. And next, we can also have them click on this FAQs and make sure that's saved. Take a quick look at it, and there you go. Actually, let's change the look of the chatbot. Set it to modern, and I like to use Excel. Just think it looks better. There you go. Awesome. So they can just select from the options in here, which are the channels that we added. All right, now let's head on over and build the flow itself. So this will be like the instant trigger for the chatbot. Tutor match bot, create, and I'll show you guys how to build that. Okay, first thing that we need a welcome message. We need like a start of everything message. So let's do this. Excuse me, guys. Okay. And for the like start of the flow itself, let's do this. There you go. Let's keep it friendly. So we're just trying to tell them like we will help you find a perfect tutor for you. Just answer a few quick questions. And then you can actually delay this if you want. You can delay it for 2 seconds so that it doesn't look too AI, right? I mean, AI responds very fast. So if you want to delete that, you can put that right here. So let's make sure that's saved, and then let's move on to the next block we will be using, which is the question block. Okay, so a question block collects data. So it collects input, and then you can actually save those as an attribute. So what we call it attribute, when you save like a data and then you want to like reuse it later in some parts of the flow. So you can use the question block to create that. Let me show you guys. For this one, you can even add a success and failure like validation. So if you want to validate their answer to be success or failure, you can definitely use this. But for this use case, I'll just delete it. I don't really need this. And then let's click inside and start asking questions. So over here, it says what subject tutor would you be needing. Let's save the response to attribute. Oh, good. Add custom attribute. There you go. So let's make sure that's saved. And then next, the next question that we will be asking is, what grade level? Just exit out of this. Oh, so it's too big for me. There you go. Now let's do another question block. Let's delete this and click inside. So for this one, we will be asking what grade level they are in. So let's add another custom attribute. Let's make sure that's saved. Grade level, add custom attribute, and there you go. And then next is the current challenges. So we'll be asking them for any current learning challenges. Let's use another question block for that. Delete this. We don't need that at all. So put that right here. And then let's make sure that is also saved as a custom attribute. Learning challenges. Okay, great. Now let's save that. Okay, so as you can see, this is the flow that they will be getting when they like open the chatbot. This is the exact flow that like they will encounter when using the chatbot. Now let's add one last question in here. Let's ask what type of like date and time they prefer. So let's use another question block for that. And let's make sure that is saved. I'll just name the schedule. Make sure that's saved. And now that we have those, let's use AI mode. So now that we collected the information, we will let the AI handle the rest. So we'll let it handle like the entire like logic. So let me verify the inputs. So grade level, and then subject, and then learning challenges, and then schedule. Is that correct? So now if we click this save, let's try testing if the flow will work first before we connect it to a chatbot. Let's say math. What grade level? Let's say I'll say none. Okay. Friday, 1 a.m. Okay, yeah. So it was able to kind of like get the value or the data from the custom attributes that we set. So as you can see here, it was able to pull that information from this entire flow that we went through. So now click yes. So it will be AI who will be continuing that. Just make sure that's saved and let's connect it. Let's connect it right now to the chatbot that we built earlier. So that'll be under businesses. That'll be under bot samples and Tutor match bot. Okay, get matched with a Tutor now. All right, let's connect it over here. You can see that under settings and then flow setting. And then do you want to use flow instead of AI chat? This means then the flow is enabled or when you add it in here, it'll be the first thing that a user goes through. And then at the end of the flow, that's when the AI chat will trigger. So it's basically a guided experience. And you'll see it right here, flow is enabled or override. So it's overriding the AI at the start of the conversation. So let's try it. And then at grade level. No, maybe Friday at 10 a.m. Yes. Right. There you go. So what it did is that it used the flow to collect like the information. And then when we like pass it over to the AI, it used the sources that we added in here. It used the knowledge that we had in here. to recommend the best tutor to match us with a tutor. And then it also provided us with a CDA. So you can check his availability and book a session here. And then you can also like see more options. So let's just say yes. And you can even add images if you guys want. You can add like images of like the tutors in here. Just make sure to reference it or put the link and make sure it's public and it's something that the AI can read so that it can show that image too in here. And then let's see, let's try doing the FAQs. Let's try that if that works correctly. Okay, there you go. How can I book a session with a tutor? You can book a session with a tutor by visiting the provided calendar link. What subjects are you available for tutoring? What if I need a tutor? Are the tutor's schedules flexible? So as you can see, those are like the few FAQs that AI gathered from the knowledge base. So yeah, that's the full flow. So that's a chatbot with a flow inside it. It's pretty straightforward, but it can become really valuable for you guys working with like tutoring centers. And as you can see, once the user confirms their input, or once we match them, or once the AI matches them with a tutor, you can even add an automation. So you can send all of this information over to make.com, and from there you can automate the entire backend. So you can actually like assign the lead inside the CRM. You can trigger a booking process if you want, or you can maybe trigger a review process. So after they're done with the tutoring, the automation can like get reviews from the client. So that's all of the things you can do in here. So you can actually partner this with an even like full back end, automation system. So instead of the staff doing all of that manually, you're like basically giving them a structured intake system, plus the automation behind it. And can work for a lot of clients. This similar pattern can work for education, for coaching, or even service-based businesses that needs to qualify and, route leads to the right direction. So that's it for today's build. Let me share you guys the link for this. And you can save it in your Aspot account. See how it was built. Try using it yourself. And let me just put that right here. Okay, link for Tutor Manage Bot. There you go. Okay. I can send that and chat. Any questions at all regarding this build or anything that you're working on right now here in Aspot? Go. All right. I think everyone's good for today. I think everyone's pretty like clear with the tutorial. But yep, if you like have any question, you need any help with building anything, you guys know where to find me. You can either email me to support@aspot.ai, or you can even book a one-on-one so we can like go through what you're building together. You can see my calendar link inside school itself. Thank you all for joining and have a great Thursday. Bye bye.